Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining in to the very first episode of Jersey Beach Volley Podcast. My name is Rohan Chatella, and I'll be your host. Today, on our very first episode, we are joined by guest Marcus Urrutia, who's a local and upcoming player on the Jersey Beach volleyball scene. Join us as Marcus recounts his experiences in high school, his upcoming plans for the season, and what he's been up to during Corona season. So, Marcus, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Rohan.
No problem, man. Appreciate it. It's pretty cool to get this project off the ground and capture the stories of New Jersey Beach volleyball. So, yeah, I think it's a great time to be here for you.
I think this is a great idea what you're doing, and we'll see how it goes.
Definitely. Thanks, man. So, I guess, just wanted to keep this light and casual. So, you want to start off by letting us know about your background in volleyball, how you got into the sport, and where your interests are right now?
Yeah, sure. Growing up, I've always been around volleyball. My family plays, used to play volleyball for quite some time, and once my brother really started getting into it, come around high school, I was really excited to get on the team, and I played some high school volleyball from freshman year to senior year, and then I think around my junior sophomore year, I realized beach volleyball was a thing. And so I started getting used to the feel of that, playing those Saturday Gav tournaments down the shore. And here I am today, about year 6 into playing beach volleyball, and we're going strong. So.
Gotcha. Okay, and how old are you again? Let's remind the viewers how old you are.
Yeah, I'm 19 years old.
Okay, so you're still a baby and almost an infant in your beach volleyball career. You're sitting 6 years down, but you obviously have a lot of upside and you still have a lot more time to play. So that's awesome, man.
It's a great way of thinking about it. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, so you basically taken a couple of crawls and soon you'll be walking, and then after that you'll be running.
Exactly.
Right? That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So then here, walk me back through your high school career. What position did you play? And, any accomplishments you had? Any setbacks?
Yeah, sure. Well, in high school, funny enough, when I was first becoming a freshman, I was well known in the volleyball program, and I was really short at the time. So obviously, I'd be playing libero. I really didn't grow too much till my later years, but in the beginning, I had the starting role playing libero. But once the season came, they found out pretty quickly that I can't really hand pass because I had small hands and didn't have very strong finger bones.
How tall were you? You said you weren't that tall, right? How tall were you?
I'd say, if I had to guess, freshman year, oh man, maybe 5 foot, maybe 5 foot, yeah. So yeah, I was pretty puny, and
Oompa Loompa.
yeah, once they figured out I couldn't use my hands too well and serve receive and things like that, I actually got benched through my sophomore year and didn't really play the end of my freshman year. But then come around junior year, I was splitting time with another libero, and then I finally earned my spot during playoffs. We were versing the number 1 team in the state at the time, called Hunterdon Central, and at the time they were 22-0, I believe, going into the state tournament, so they hadn't lost all year. And then that was the game we were supposed to lose, the 1 seed versus the 8 seed. And we kind of turned things around, and that's when people realized they're like, all right, Marcus kind of has it. Maybe we got to keep him. And so that was my start into
wow.
Yeah. So
you faced some adversity there, and you managed to overcome, and you managed to earn your starting spot in that process too.
Yep, exactly. And then over the years came a lot of confidence. I feel like confidence is definitely a big issue to my game. So once I had that, I kind of started to feel like I was a part of the team and really meant to do something on the court. So throughout the year, I got a lot better. And at the end of the year, I got a first team All-State for my my most digs in New Jersey and my player performance. So
so quite the high school career. So congrats on that. That's definitely it's no small feat. So congrats.
Thanks.
So then, okay, that's I think that's a perfect segue, bringing it into the beach game. So you had a great high school career, but you weren't playing too much beach back then. What exactly got you into beach? I know you mentioned that you have an older brother who plays beach volleyball too. So was that your main influence? Did he drag you out onto the beach? And when exactly did you fall in love with the sport? Because I think in this sport itself, I think everyone has that distinct time where they realize, all right, like indoors a lot of fun, but beach, holy shit, man, this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
When was that for you?
Yeah. That's a really tough question. I really don't know when that exact click was, but I knew uh, obviously indoor volleyball and beach volleyball are a little bit similar. So coming out of high school season, there was no more indoor, so that was the time that I was really playing a lot of beach, and I think that's when I realized like my love for beach volleyball.
Hmm. And what level were you competing at that time? At that point?
Actually, my first tournament, I played an A tournament with my older brother Jake,
Hmm.
and I think that was in like I want to say like 2012. So I was like 12 at the time. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I'd say my actual time where I was really into it, I'd say like right after my senior year of high school, maybe when I was
Hmm.
about 18 or yeah 18.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I think that's good because it puts into perspective the timeline of how you get acclimated into the sport and how you transition off leaving your indoor career into trying to pursue something on the sand, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Exactly. So I think you brought up a really good topic earlier in the discussion regarding vulnerability and confidence. So if you could speak a little bit about that and how your game is right now regarding how vulnerable you are and how confident you are, how you manage those two parts of your game.
Well, I'm definitely very critical on myself when it comes to my game. So, and I do still struggle with confidence as a player. But I find everyone's mind works differently. So for me, I find comparing myself to others as it's good for like a kind of like to push yourself. It can be like good in that sense. But honestly, for me, it kind of has a negative take on me because like it kind of messes with my head when I play, and like I don't really think about the right things when I'm trying to play. Um, so that's definitely something where everyone has to work around with confidence issues.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, no one ever starts on the court. You got to start somewhere, and so everyone has to face confidence issues at some point.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. What would you say have been some moments where you felt a high level of confidence and moments where you felt at a lower level of confidence?
Repeat that one more time. You cut out a little bit.
Sorry. So, can you describe some moments, either when you're playing or just you're thinking about the game, where you feel high moments or high levels of confidence,
Hmm.
and what contributes to that, versus when you feel low levels of confidence?
That's a good point. Honestly, for me, it's probably I probably have a lot of confidence when I'm passing well.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say honestly, passing is probably one of the most basic things for me,
Mm-hmm.
and something that I always feel like I should have down. So when I feel like my passing is really like going right where I want it, I feel like uplifted almost,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm in control basically.
Okay. So then, on the converse, you would say when you're not passing that well, your
Exactly.
confidence
Yeah.
dips a little bit. You kind of start to feel a little shaky
Exactly.
and
When uh when
misunderstood.
I'm when I'm not passing well, I definitely say I get in my head even more, which
Mm-hmm.
is something I definitely got to work around and try and figure out a way to, you know, stay on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah.
So then, who do you look up to on the AVP scene, on the New Jersey scene? Actually, let's start with the New Jersey scene. Who do you look up to, and who do you kind of model your game after,
New
both in
Jersey.
our community and I guess the AVP as well?
Let's see. For New Jersey, that's a tough question. Putting me in a spot for a role model. I haven't really thought about it, but as a shorter player, I definitely say like national. I'd say on a national level, I'd probably say another short player. What's his name? I can't think of it right now. Vandermeer is his last name.
Mm,
He's
David Vandermeer, yeah.
yeah, he's definitely a shorter type of player, very defensive. And I definitely like to model my game after his, as we kind of have the
Hmm.
same body type.
Okay.
Whereas I'm not a Casey Patterson who can just get a couple inches off the ground and just bomb it straight down. I definitely need to work on my vertical and
I mean, if you're
myself.
Casey Patterson, you don't have to work on your vertical. You could
That's
just
what
get
I'm
away with
saying.
it. So,
That's why I don't really role model him as much
okay.
as some other players.
No shade, no shade, Casey. You don't
No
kill us, all
shade,
right?
Casey. No shade.
Okay. Okay. My next question then is, what's your plan for this upcoming season? What are you looking to accomplish? What are you doing right now in this Corona off season? And yeah.
Well, to start, I'd say it's pretty unsure how this season's going to go. I think for everybody with this whole Corona going on, but I'd like to think that sometime around like latest June, things will be kind of back to normal. But
Hmm.
we don't really know exactly. But as of now, I've just been trying to get ready for the season. Less like powerlifting since I'm not really in the gym as much, and
Hmm.
definitely trying to get my endurance up. Just a few backyard workouts. Not much I can really do right now, but I'm trying to stay focused with that.
Okay. So that covers what you're doing right now. What
Hmm.
about, say, let's say the season picks up back around June. What are your goals for the season? I know last year you managed to make it the playoffs and men's open a couple of times. Do you want to keep that level of play? Do you want to snag a third, a fifth? Like, what are your goals?
Definitely mid-season is where more competition's at. So I know once we're starting the season, it's basically going to be mid-season of a normal season. So
Hmm.
there's definitely going to be a lot of people in the start. So I don't want to judge my performance based off how I'm placing, but
Hmm.
I would like to think towards the end of the season when there's less big dogs around, I would like to think I could get a third or a second or maybe even a first depending on the competition.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to approach it. You don't want to always base your improvements on the placing,
Yeah.
because that could always just negatively impact how you play, how you think about
You're always
yourself
gonna
and your
get
game.
unlucky draws and all that stuff. So stuff is gonna happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what about, I guess, just maybe walk me through some of your philosophies for how you play. Do you approach it like a chess match? Do you approach it like a dance, like almost like a swing, like a ballet, where
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
very fluid?
There's definitely many different ways you can play the sport, and that's why I find it so fascinating. Because like I've been playing for a little while now, and it's like every time I step on the court, I'm still like finding new things or finding new ways to play. Like you could always just like sit in the one spot, or you could shadow behind the blocker and then pick the line or pick the cross. Like there's definitely many different ways to play, and I think the best way to play your game is based off um, sometimes who you're playing.
Hmm.
But obviously, once you get to a high enough level, you definitely got to play your own game. So for me, I'm still bouncing around with those tactics. But as of now, I'd like to say I definitely just stick in the cross and then try and judge my speed and hope I can get to the line over the cross ball. But with everything in mind, you always have something going on.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah.
There's always something. I think what you're trying to get at. There's always something to think about.
Yeah,
Something to
there's always
always
something to
chew
think
on.
about. Yeah, always something to improve that you're trying to work on. So I feel like for me, my game isn't like it's not very like in my head yet. Like I still think
Hmm.
about a lot of things, you know?
Yeah. I think the ultimate goal for all of us is to get to a state where there's really not much thinking left to do. It's just
Yeah.
playing and reacting, right? That'd be
Yep.
the ultimate
Exactly.
goal. Not easy to
Exactly.
do, but that would be the best thing to do.
Hmm.
Are you a fan of watching film and dissecting and analyzing your past performances? And if so, how do you approach that?
I love watching film, whether it's myself or just people on the AVP or FIVB. I
Mhm.
love watching film because you can learn a lot from that. Um, I record a lot of the scrimmages I have and the games obviously in tournaments. And I definitely use that to just see like all my mistakes and stuff. Because once a point happens, like you forget about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're losing points and you're not really remembering how that went or like what went wrong, like you're not going to learn and you're not going to get better with that. So I definitely try to use film to pick up on things that I'm doing wrong or find things that other people are doing right and all that stuff.
Hmm. Any specific player that you've been watching recently and kind of studying, picking up habits, or picking apart techniques?
Um, for indoor, I definitely say the person I watch most would be Dustin Watton, indoor
Mm-hmm.
professional libero.
Yep.
He has a lot of clips that definitely help people with their passing and what big misconceptions in passings are and all that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
on the beach, I'd say I'd watch a lot of Eric Baranek.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not that he's the same type of player as me. He's definitely very explosive, which I definitely want to work on myself. And he plays great defense, so that's definitely someone that I'd like to work like.
Got it. I think that's pretty insightful. Um, I think I just have one or two more questions before I let you go. I know you're really busy, but
All
let's
right.
take a step outside of volleyball and just can you give me a little bit about what you're doing now? Are you still in school? What do you plan to do with your life? Because we know that the life of a professional beach volleyball player is very tough. It's
Mm-hmm.
not very lucrative
Yep.
and it's not an easy living. But hey, I think if all of us, if we could, we would drop everything that we have to go do that. So what are you doing right now?
Right now, so I just recently graduated from community college in the fall. So
Mm-hmm.
this off semester, while I'm not, transferring to another university, I had an internship, before this Corona outbreak happened. And so it's not really declared whether I'm going to go back yet, but that's beside the point. When I go to school in the fall, right now I'm either thinking of transferring to Rutgers, New Brunswick, or Northridge University in California, which I've both been accepted to. And then I got waitlisted from Long Beach State University, and I should hear back from them in May. So I really should find out soon. I had to put a deposit down for Rutgers or Northridge uh, while I, hear back from Long Beach. So,
Gotcha. What were you doing in your internship?
yeah, my internship. I work at a 401k planning center, and
Mm,
they basically sell like Roth 401k plans to small businesses.
mm, interesting. I know the economy has been taking a hit. It's kind of rebounded in the last couple of days or
Yeah,
so,
it's
but
starting to go up.
yeah. So I mean, hey, it's good to learn about that stuff now while you're young because
Definitely.
you want to make sure you're set for the future.
Yeah, control your money.
Hmm. Definitely. Okay, Marcus. Well, before I let you go, actually, I'm going to take you through one last segment of rapid fire stuff. Just random questions that I think of off the top of my head. All right, you ready for this?
Yep. All right. Here we go.
Okay, so squat or deadlift?
Oh, squat.
Do pineapples belong on pizza?
Not for me.
All right, get off my podcast. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, what about protein shakes? Chocolate or vanilla?
Definitely chocolate.
Okay. When you're on the beach, do you pay for the $10 to get on the beach, or do you hop the fence?
Oh man. Uh, I got another scheme of my own, but we'll go with hop the fence.
Okay, last question. Um, I can't think of one. But next time I have you on the podcast, I'll think of a last question. All right.
All right, cool.
Awesome, Marcus. Thanks for joining me today for my first ever podcast on Jersey Beach Volley Podcast. And have a great rest of your day, bro. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
No problem, man. Enjoy. Take care.
Thanks. You too.